Howdy folks, today we have a bunch more bug fixes on the experimental as well as video proof and how to of restoring your legacy save base. On top of that, a quick look at the Blueprint Analyser, which in this patch 1.52 is now fixed and available to legacy saves. Remember that these are the experimental patch notes, so are only currently available for Steam players who have opted in for the beta testing. This patch will likely have another round of fixes added, then be pushed out to live and other platforms within the next few days. They seem to be playing the bug fixes just like they did in Atlas Rises, which means many initial bug fix patches in the first few weeks, then weekly patches for a month or two to really get almost everything. So to start with the patch notes, fix the case where invalid characters could cause saves to fail to load. Fix the base restoration mission failing to find a proper site for your legacy base. While they had added the quest in the previous bug fix patch, it did not work properly and you could not scan for a habitable base. To be even more annoying, it was said as if the bases were the same as before, so the 4+ hours I spent flying around looking for a habitable base were for nothing. It is now a tiny terminal, of which I'm sure I saw many and ignored as they were not the original default base. Walkthrough of the mission after the rest of these notes. Fixed an issue where players would not know the living glass recipe after upgrading their save. Fixed an issue where players would not know the Blueprint Analyser after upgrading their save. This was also of great annoyance to veteran players, as the Blueprint Analyser is required to learn many of the awesome new building blueprints. I spent my 24 salvage technology on a number of cool looking wood, concrete and metal building parts. It's quite motivating to go and find more. Fixed an issue where players would not know the Frigate Fuel blueprint if they undertook the fleet tutorial in multiplayer. I'd heard about this a lot but hadn't heard the specifics of why it wasn't being given. Turns out it was a multiplayer issue. Well, it's fixed now, so great. Fixed a number of issues with Galactic Commission missions that involved freighters. This is super vague, but great I guess. Fixed an issue where players would not see their ships docked aboard a freighter when loading. This is a sort of much frustration and fury, and it's still not as fixed as I'd like in the experimental, but hopefully it's better. Fixed an issue where players would see multiple ships docked in the same landing pad when loading. This is fixed for all I can see, and it's very good that it is. This bug was a bitch. If you get in one of the ships that are making sweet time and space love, you are pushed above them into your freighter's model and flung into the wrong side of the textures, causing horrendous amounts of damage and trapping you within. You had to reload, which usually had you stuck in your freighter. For those who are waiting for this patch to go live and are stuck in their freighters, to get out, simply exit the game. Then as you start it up again, choose to enter a random traveller's save. This will place you in your ship in their system. You are now free of that metal prison. Fixed an issue where the freighter bridge would unload after accepting a mission from the Galactic Commission Terminal. Didn't experience this one, and rather glad I didn't too. Fixed an issue where players would be jettisoned into space after warping aboard another player's freighter. I think this happened during the launch stream to one or two of my cohorts. A very troubling bug, especially for those brave enough to be playing Permadeath this early into an update. Fixed a number of text bugs. Fixed a number of incorrect prices. So swish, them's the notes. Now for how to get that legacy base restoration thing sorted. When you log on, there should be a mission in your log called Base Restoration. Click it to focus it in your log. You should then find a suitable planet. By this it pretty much just means a planet you want to live on. My original base was on a hot planet due to having solar vine outside in great numbers, so to test the limitations I tried to put it on a lush, overgrown paradise with huge ass trees, bluegrass, huge ocean and a ring around it. And I was successful. This is great news as it means when restoring your legacy save it does not matter about matching your outside crops to the planetary biome. So find yourself a lovely new planet of which you are smitten, then fly in, land and scan while still in the ship. This will find you a suitable base location and give you a waypoint. Head to the waypoint and interact with the terminal and click the option to restore your base. Don't claim or anything, the claim option will just give you a blank slate in which to build. The base will then magically appear fully built around you. Now it will be somewhat buggy. This is not too much of an issue though. At least the only bugs I suffered were ladders and doors not being attached. This is because as you manually place items that interact and change other items, it automatically makes that connection. If it loads everything at once, that connection isn't made. The answer to this is to just carefully being sure not to delete anything else. Delete all of your doors and ladders and replace them. You'll receive the building materials back for them when dismantling them, so it is not an issue and takes but a minute. And now, happy days! You have your glorious Atlas Rises era base back. You'll need to construct a teleporter. They are quite cheap, so it's not an issue. Here's my old base. It is in the same system as before, just on a different planet, as my old one does not exist anymore. But my new one is glorious and lush and ringed and oceanic and foresty. I do rather love it. The base is not located close to a portal, but I wasn't that bothered at this point. And it's really not an issue nowadays due to having your ship follow you through the portal. It has a beacon on it for super easy locating and produces lots of living glass and circuit boards, as it was originally created to be a stasis device farm which provides a farmable parts. Oh, and the ocean on the planet is completely littered with salt-bearing rocks, so yay, good stuff. Thank you all for watching. I hope this has been good news for most. To join the experimental beta on Steam, simply head to your game library, go to No Man's Sky Properties, click the Betas tab and type in the box Experimental, with the E being 3, then click to check access code. Select Experiment from the drop down box and you're in. Also, if more fixes are added to this patch before release, I'll post them in a pinned comment, so look out for that. Have an awesome day, folks.